In the next few minutes, I'm breaking down the 10 anti-aging foundation brands hiding drying alcohols, heavy silicones, and skin-irritating fragrances behind packaging that says youth restoring and luminous. Some of these formulas contain ingredients that dermatologists have flagged for accelerating the exact wrinkles they claim to prevent. Others are stripping your moisture barrier with every wear, aging the skin they promise to protect. And the worst offender on this list is one of the most trusted names in beauty, a brand women have been loyal to for years without realizing what it's doing to their skin. Stick around because at the end, I'm sharing 4 foundations that have earned a permanent spot in my professional kit. Let's check the ingredient lists. Number 14, Maybelline. Starting us off, Maybelline markets its Instant Age Rewind line as a quick fix for mature skin. The packaging promises a smooth, youthful finish, but flip the tube over and alcohol denat sits near the top of the ingredient list. Alcohol denat is a drying solvent that strips moisture from the skin on contact. For women over 40 whose skin is already producing less oil and holding less water, that is actively accelerating the dryness that makes fine lines visible in the first place. Cosmetic chemists have called out alcohol denat specifically as an ingredient that has no place in products targeting mature skin. Maybelline also packs fragrance into this formula, and fragrance is one of the top 5 contact allergens identified by the American Contact Dermatitis Society. When a product aimed at aging skin contains both a drying agent and a known irritant, the formula is working against the promise on the label. But misleading formulas are one thing, misleading labels are another. Number 13, Almay. Almay has built its entire brand around one word, hypoallergenic. That label makes women with sensitive, aging skin feel safe reaching for it. But here is what the packaging does not tell you. Hypoallergenic is not regulated by the FDA. There is no testing standard behind it, no certification process, and no legal definition. The FDA tried to regulate the term back in 1975 and lost in court. 50 years later, it still means nothing. Almay's Smart Shade formula contains preservatives like methylparaben and propylparaben that the European Commission's Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety has flagged for endocrine-disrupting potential. The formula also refuses to melt into textured areas. Instead, it sits on the surface, grabs onto dry patches, and separates around the nose and chin within the first hour. For a brand selling trust as its main ingredient, the ingredient list does not earn it. If you think the name on the bottle tells you what is inside, this next brand proves otherwise. Number 12, CoverGirl. CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Foundation has been a drugstore favorite for years, and the name promises exactly what women over 40 are looking for. Simply Ageless is built on dimethicone, a heavy silicone that creates a thick, occlusive layer on the surface of your skin. On younger skin with firm texture and tight pores, that layer reads as smooth. On mature skin with fine lines and visible pores, dimethicone acts like a cast. It traps heat, prevents the skin from breathing naturally, and by mid-afternoon, the product has slid into every crease around the eyes and mouth. Independent beauty testers have documented how the finish turns almost plastic under natural daylight. CoverGirl developed Simply Ageless in partnership with Olay and tested it on young models in controlled studio lighting. It was engineered to photograph well on smooth skin, not to wear well on the skin the name is actually trying to attract. But at least CoverGirl stays the same shade you applied. This next brand does not even give you that. Number 11, Revlon. Revlon's Age. Defying Foundation is the brand most likely to betray you in natural light. The formula oxidizes. The shade you matched on the back of your hand at the drugstore shifts 2 to 3 shades darker within the first hour of wear. By lunchtime, you are wearing a completely different color than what you applied that morning. Oxidation happens when iron oxides in the pigment react with your skin's natural oils and pH level, and Revlon's particular formulation is notorious for it. This is a chemistry problem, not a skin type problem. It happens regardless of how you prep or prime. On top of the shade shift, the coverage settles into nasolabial folds and forehead lines and stays there. If you have ever caught your reflection at noon and wondered why your foundation looked fine at 8 and wrong by 12, Revlon's oxidation issue is the most likely explanation. Shade shifting is bad enough. But what about brands that make clinical promises their own formula contradicts? Number 10. Number 7. Number 7 comes from the British pharmacy chain Boots, and the brand has invested heavily in clinical anti-aging claims. Their Lift and Luminate foundation promises wrinkle reduction and a luminous finish through peptide technology. But the actual base sabotages everything those peptides are supposed to do. The finish is matte, flat matte. And matte formulas absorb light instead of reflecting it, which means every fine line, every pore, every bit of surface texture shows up in sharp relief under daylight. On skin over 40, you need light diffusion working in your favor. No 7 removes that entirely. The peptides themselves are present at concentrations too low to produce the clinical effects the published studies on those peptides describe. Dermatologists call this peptide washing, where a brand lists an active ingredient at a dose high enough for the label but too low for your skin. The marketing gets the peptide, your face does not. If that gap between promise and formula bothers you, this next brand takes it to another level. Number 9. Olay. Olay built a skincare empire telling women to hydrate, protect their moisture barrier, and treat their skin gently. Then they released a foundation line that contradicts all of it. Olay Regenerist CC Cream contains alcohol denat high on the ingredient list, the same drying solvent that landed Maybelline at number 14. A company that has published decades of research on mature skin hydration put a dehydrating agent into a face product designed for that exact demographic. The coverage is also sheer enough that you layer more product to build it up, which compounds the drying effect and makes the formula cake faster. A skincare brand crossing into makeup should treat foundation as an extension of the routine, not a contradiction of it. Everything Olay's skincare line tells you to do, their CC cream undoes. Now, the next brand on this list did something genuinely important for the beauty industry, but that does not mean their foundation works for every face. Number 8, Fenty Beauty. Fenty Beauty changed makeup with its shade range, and Rihanna deserves recognition for making inclusivity a standard expectation. But Pro Filter was designed for 20-something skin. The original formula is intensely matte with serious oil control, the exact opposite of what mature complexions need. Women over 40 are not fighting excess oil. They are fighting moisture loss, thinning, and texture. A heavy matte foundation on dehydrated skin exaggerates every dry patch and makes the finish look flat and lifeless within a few hours. Fenty has released a hydrating version since the original launch, but the original Pro Filter remains what most shoppers reach for on the display. If the shade match pulled you in, but the wear experience left you looking chalky and dull by midday, the formula was never built for your skin type in the first place. The issue with Fenty is demographic mismatch. This next brand has a different problem entirely. It was built for professionals, not consumers. Number 7. MAC Cosmetics. MAC Studio Fix has been an industry standard for decades, and working makeup artists have relied on it in every backstage environment imaginable. But Studio Fix was designed for editorial shoots, runway shows, and photo sets, where foundation gets wiped off after a few hours. The formula uses talc as a primary ingredient to deliver that dense, full coverage finish loved in professional settings. On younger, firmer skin, talc reads as flawless. On skin that has lost elasticity and collagen, talc settles into every fold and crease and locks in. It does not flex, it does not move, and it does not forgive. Cosmetic chemists have pointed out that talc-based foundations are designed for short-wear environments with professional touch-ups built into the schedule. Treating Studio Fix as an 8-hour daily foundation is using a professional tool for a job it was never designed to do. If heavy coverage is the problem with MAC, this next brand proves that long-wear technology can be just as unforgiving. Number 6. NARS. NARS Natural Radiant Longwear has the word radiant right in the name, but the reality on mature skin runs closer to the opposite. The formula is heavily pigmented and built around a rigid film-forming polymer base that locks onto the skin surface to deliver 16-hour wear. Anything that rigid will emphasize every line it sits on. Within a few hours, this foundation creases deeply into smile lines, under-eye hollows, and the corners of the mouth. The light-reflecting particles that are supposed to create radiance settle into enlarged pores and amplify them instead. NARS built this for red carpet environments, where a professional team reapplies and retouches every 30 minutes. For everyday wear on mature skin, the same long-wear technology that keeps the foundation in place all day also keeps it locked into your wrinkles all day. Taking the last spot on the worst list, this next brand proves that clean beauty labels do not guarantee a skin-friendly formula. Number 5. Tarte. Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation has a loyal following among women who want a clean beauty option. On paper, Tarte checks those boxes, but the clay base tells a different story on mature skin. Amazonian clay is intensely absorbent. It pulls oil and moisture out of the skin like a sponge, which is effective for oily 20-year-old complexions and devastating for mature skin already struggling to retain hydration. The finish starts smooth, but within 2 hours the formula clings to every dry patch and flake on the surface. The nose and chin go chalky, forehead creases become pronounced. And because the matte formula absorbs all available light, the entire complexion reads flat and dull instead of healthy. Clean ingredients on the label do not matter if the wear experience ages you faster than the foundation you wore before it. Now for the good news, these 4 brands prove that anti-aging foundation can actually deliver what it promises. Number 4. Armani Beauty. Starting the best list, Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk is the foundation that set the benchmark for what a second skin finish looks like on mature faces. The formula is water-based and feather-light. It melts into the skin instead of sitting on top of it. It does not grab onto texture or settle into fine lines, and it does not build into a mask when you layer it. The finish is a natural satin that reflects just enough light to blur imperfections without tipping into greasy territory. Armani uses microfill technology that allows buildable coverage without weight, and oxidation is minimal across a solid 8-hour wear window. The price sits above drugstore, but the gap between this and every sub-$20 foundation on the bad list is not luxury branding. It is formula quality. But wear time is where the next brand pulls ahead. Number 3. Lancôme. Lancôme Teint Idole. Ultra Wear is the marathon runner of the foundation world. What matters is not the 24-hour claim on the box, but how this formula looks at hour 6, hour 8, and hour 10 on a mature face. Lancôme built Teint Idole around a flexible polymer network that moves with your expressions instead of cracking when you smile or squint. That flexibility is critical on skin that has lost collagen and moves differently than it did at 30. The formula includes hyaluronic acid alongside lightweight opacity that covers redness and uneven tone without looking plastered on. It does not oxidize noticeably, it does not transfer onto clothing, and it does not demand a heavy setting powder that adds unwanted texture. For women who need foundation that survives a full working day without midday touch-ups, Teint Idole consistently delivers. If Lancôme wins on longevity, this next brand wins on finish. Number 2. Hourglass. Hourglass Vanish Seamless. Finish foundation occupies a different category when it comes to looking expensive on your skin. The formula starts as a stick, glides on like a cream, warms into your complexion with body heat, and then disappears. You do not see foundation. You see skin that looks naturally perfected. Hourglass blends hyaluronic acid with a vita-glycan complex that hydrates while delivering buildable coverage throughout the day. The texture does not cling to dry patches or pool into creases the way heavy liquid formulas do. It is also formulated without parabens, sulfates, or synthetic fragrance, which means the formula is not introducing the same irritants that landed several brands on the bad list. The finish achieves a natural luminosity that reads as your skin glowing from the inside rather than product sitting on the surface. And the number 1 spot goes to the brand that solved the one problem every other foundation on this list still has. Number 1. Luxe Foundation. Luxe does something none of the other brands on this countdown have figured out. The formula uses color-adapting pigments that adjust to your specific skin tone and undertone on contact. That means the shade matching problem that made Revlon a disaster at number 11 is not an issue here. You are not guessing under fluorescent drugstore lighting and hoping it holds. The formula reads your complexion and meets it where it is. The base itself is a lightweight serum texture built with peptides, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide, three ingredients that dermatologists consistently recommend for mature skin. So instead of just sitting on your face for 10 hours doing nothing, the formula is actually working for your skin while you wear it. The finish dries to a natural satin that moves with your face instead of cracking into creases, which is the exact opposite of what the rigid film-forming and heavy silicone formulas on the bad list do. It does not cake, it does not oxidize, and it does not settle into lines. It is cheaper on Amazon than anywhere else I have found, so I left a link in the description below. At that price point, it competes directly with Armani and Lancôme while solving the one problem neither of those has cracked yet. There you have it. 10 brands to walk past and 4 that actually earned a place on your vanity. Before your next trip down the beauty aisle, flip that bottle over and read the ingredient list. If you see alcohol denat, heavy fragrances, or dimethicone near the top of a product that claims to be anti-aging, put it back. Your skin has been through enough. Drop a comment telling me which brand you want investigated next, and share this with anyone who buys foundation without reading the label. I will see you in the next one.